the initiating a project process, we are at the initiation stage of a project. Here you can see where we are headed towards this project. We have moved on from pre-project. Now we are starting to add a lot more detail in the thinking and the specifications in terms of where this project is heading. We need to undertake a lot more analysis work at this particular point in time to be able to arrive at the decision, which is a final decision from the project board on whether or not to proceed with the project and whether it is a viable project and whether it does provide sufficient business justification. The decision is based upon the strength of the detailed business case. It's therefore important to understand that if the information you're providing in the business case leads to someone or the project board asking you a question about that information, it means you haven't given sufficient information. So you must make sure that the information you're providing in the detailed business case is clear, succinct, and covers all bases as much as possible. Here we can see the objectives for initiating a project. We want to make sure that a detailed business case is established, and by doing that we need to understand the scope of the project. What's the project going to deliver? Who is it going to deliver it for? What are the goals of the project? What are the outcomes of the project? What are the benefits of the project? So the scope of the project needs to be agreed upon as well as what it will deliver. Another thing that needs to be prepared in this process is a plan for the project. Every project needs a plan, regardless of whether it's going to take 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years. We need to have some sort of plan that estimates the amount of time the project is going to take and what activities are involved within that plan. This could include a work breakdown structure or work schedule, as well as the resources that are required to complete the work. Resources could include people, office accommodation, software, networking, or some infrastructure put in place as a resource in order to complete or carry out the project work. So it's really important to have all this information documented. The final objective of the initiating a project process is to establish mechanisms for monitoring the work, controlling the work, and making sure that the project is actually on track and what is being delivered is actually fit for purpose. So we can see here that there are quite a number of activities that need to be carried out and documents that need to be prepared and assembled to create what is known as the project initiation documentation. By assembling this information, laying the foundations up front and having that information approved, everyone in the project knows who they are as a stakeholder, what their role is, what their responsibility is, what the output of the project is, what the outcomes of the project are, and what the benefits of the project are, as well as a lot of other information in between. So as part of this particular process, we need to prepare a number of strategy documents. We need to specify how we're going to control the project. We need to plan the project to come up with a project plan, and we need to refine the business case that was created in outline form in the starting up a project process. It seems like quite a lot of work, but by doing this work up front, all the mechanisms are in place to ensure, as far as possible, successful outcomes for the project. As previously mentioned, preparing this information leads to the assembly of the PID, or Project Initiation Documentation. Here is a visual representation of what you need to be thinking about and the sequence in which you should think about preparing this information. So you can see some strategy documents at the top in relation to risk, configuration, quality, and communication management. Then you set up the project controls and create the project plan. You refine the business case and assemble the project initiation documentation. The key outputs of this particular process are the detailed business case, which has all the information completed as far as possible. A benefits review plan is also produced because we need to be able to have a plan of when we are going to establish and determine that the benefits have been realised. As part of setting up a project, there needs to be some sort of controls and supporting registers. How do we manage risk? How do we manage issues? How do we manage configuration items? How do we manage quality? They are managed by setting up registers, and a register could be a simple Excel spreadsheet containing the relevant information. So what is produced and provided in the project initiation documentation? There are a number of documents. They include the business case, the project plan, product descriptions, a project management team structure, role descriptions, 4 strategy documents, and the project controls. What does a project plan look like? Here we can see a sample table of contents for a project plan. It describes the plan for the entire project and is used by the project board as a baseline for measuring progress. The project plan is maintained throughout the project to reflect actual progress and revise forecasts. In summary, there are quite a number of activities that need to be carried out as part of the initiating a project process. The key management products are the PID, some registers, as well as the benefits review plan. If you get all this information right, then it's a really good and solid foundation to continue working on your project and actually start delivering something because you've successfully done all the planning.